So from a broader perspective, do you see this trend of this consumer model of education, this being implemented across the nation?
Oh, yes. I mean,
Definitely.
Complete College Georgia, we have that program because the governor, it was Deal or Purdue who signed it?
Deal.
It was Deal. Governor Deal signed onto a larger program called Complete College America that I believe is the brainchild of Bill Gates, Microsoft guru. And so it's not just local here. You also have all the way up to the President of the United States calling for the creation of more college graduates. And what you have are people looking at those numbers and going, we can create more. Let me bring it back down to where that comes into play at a place like Georgia Southern. I think it was 3 years ago when the literature classes began to really start to grow in size. My then dean, he is no longer with us, my then dean told a department meeting that there was no problem in maintaining the quality of education with more students in the classroom. All that had to happen was, and I quote, faculty will simply need to innovate. So in other words, apparently, if there is any failure, just, heap as many students in there as you want. If there is a breakdown in the educational experience, the educational product, it will be the fault of a stick-in-the-mud, non-innovative, stagnant faculty member being in that classroom. That the only thing that stands between students and a quality education is a non-innovative faculty member. There are all sorts of ways that faculty members can innovate. You can only innovate up to a certain point before your innovation starts to really eat into the kind of education, the quality of education that our students receive. In my field, of course, hugely where this comes in is dealing with writing. Reading, writing, let alone grading it, commenting on it, trying to help people develop their ability to rationally put together and communicate their thinking, and thereby develop their ability to think. That takes a lot of time. A lot of effort. More students, the less writing you can assign. And what writing you do assign, the less time and ability you have to actually teach via that writing. I'm sorry, I can't innovate more hours in the day, and that's where we're running up against it.
But that's not just a writing class. That's any content area that asks students to do writing in terms of assessment to really see how they think and to really see how their ideas are developed. The other thing I think that we're seeing nationally, and it's and to me it's disturbing, but we're seeing college and a college education no longer being an education but training. And 10, 15 years ago, the liberal arts were a very big part of a college education. And a college education meant that someone who graduated was stamped educated, all right? Meaning that they had a wide variety of academic experiences. Well, with a push in the public schools to race to the top, that is a change in nature of a public school education from education to training. And colleges and universities have become places of advanced training. And graduate schools are just college preparation for even more advanced training. That changes the focus of what an institution is supposed to be. If we're here just to provide training, then in essence, we are a technical school. We're becoming a technical school. And this is a national phenomenon, and I point to the number of majors that have developed over even just the last 10 years that were not majors before. No one knew you needed a college education to be this major. And in fact, we have a number of majors here whose students, when they come in as freshmen, have no idea these majors exist. They learn about them and find that, well, this major will get me a job, and they see their education as job training and not, in fact, as an education.
So certainly this job-oriented education model, this industrial model of education, is not benefiting the faculty or the students who are going through it. So that leads to the obvious question: why is it being pushed, across the nation, and who does it benefit?
It benefits industry, of course. I mean, all this has been driven. The new Common Core state standards that are in existence in 46 states throughout the nation were bought and paid for by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They were put through, these are private standards, they're not national standards. And nationally, Race to the Top was dovetailed to go along with them. And the whole focus here was to become college ready. A public school education now is to be college ready. And what it means to be college ready, then, it means that you're prepared for advanced training. And the whole impetus behind this has been industry. It's been economics. We want a trained workforce that doesn't ask questions and does what they're supposed to do, that shows up for work on time and is competent. We don't want them to be innovative. We don't want them to think really outside the box. We just want a consistent workforce.
You're pushing for, rather than trying to develop, to use some of the terms around the next generation of entrepreneurs, you're attempting to develop the next generation of middle managers. And another way of looking at it is that you're attempting to train people how to run the machine. You're not trying to develop them into the kind of individual who could in the first place conceive of that machine, or even know what the machine is doing. The son of a friend of mine, when he, extremely good student, when he went to do his entrance work to get into the University of Chicago, they sat him down for a math placement test. No calculators, no nothing. Here's a pencil, here's a piece of paper. They wanted to know that he knew what the machines were doing. And they found out that he'd been educated in Bullitt County. They found out that he was a little bit deficient, not much, a little bit. So he didn't go into an advanced class right away. And by the way, he's currently working on his doctorate degree in, I think, microbiology. He's a smart kid. So he started back here because the University of Chicago, which is one of the elite institutions, not just in this country, but in the world, particularly when it comes to science. They wanted to make sure that they were educating students to think, to know what the machine was doing, not just training them to operate the machine. And in education, we've been moving towards that. The American education system has been world renowned for doing that. And we're pulling back from that very, very swiftly into the kind of specific job training that Mike was talking about.